start off on Ruins. It's going to be Sorlag versus Anarchy. We got nosfa, we got Av3k, and we got more Quake coming right live and direct to you on this beautiful Saturday. I haven't even looked outside. I don't know what the weather's like, but I know that it's going to be fragging weather here in the servers. We're going to start off on nosfa's POV, and he's got that sorbet.
Indeed, picks up the Mega, picks up the Rockets, hasn't got the LG or real to his name as of yet, which is perfectly fine. He's just making a rotation round so that he can secure them without being tickled in any way from the damage protocol from Av3k directly above him. We'll hear the rail picked up though, so that's going to give Av3k the indicator here. He's just going to stand his ground, just have to spit if he wants to try and keep or help keep Av3k away. Both players do miss the initial rail. Mega is up, but so will Heavy any second now, and it looks like Av3k still just waiting around LG, but decides to back away, and he's going to be going for the Mega, and it will mean the items will be slightly segregated. So whoever picks up the Heavy first will have room or winnable opportunity in order to try and do something here, but good Rocket, good LG to boot straight afterwards here. Av3k just staying alive the best as he can. As nosfa decides just to back away and picks up the light. Understandable. Is he going to make the rotation round to see if he can catch him, go for the light, and he does. Misses the first rail though. And just going to try and secure this with the LG. Play it safe, just for extra insurance, and there we go. After the first minute play, dives on straight. Av3k, will he be able to get the trade though? Even if he does, he's going to be diving for the spit, but it doesn't matter. nosfa comes out on top.
Not bad play at all. And there's the rocket jump, catches him out again. Nothing is safe for Av3k. Is a huge start for nosfa, and the rail as well. He is popping off right now, Lethal.
It's like these players hear my prediction and they just want to do the opposite. It's just unbelievable.
Or conversely, it's like they hear my prediction and they're like, you know what, 40's a handsome man, why don't we do that? But either way, there's still a lot of game left to play. Not even 2 minutes in right now, but nosfa just keeps hitting all the damage he needs.
I've in chat right now, probably quite happy that the channel point system wasn't available for this first map, so it's fine. We've done you guys a favour back at home. It's all good. As Heavy,
we're always looking out for you.
Seconds. This is it. Exactly. We are looking out for chat. Of course we are. As now, Av3k just was trapped in the courtyard, but two back-to-back rounds there from Av3k is. He can definitely approach his Heavy as he sees fit. He's got that clear signal to push on down. Only problem is, though, for nosfa's stuff, Av3k does have time to rocket jump up or let's go for that Mega. nosfa realizes this, got a little bit of stack recovered, but still needs to pick up a couple more lights in order to be able to re-engage here. And he needs to do it quick. There's already 5 frags behind. The split does come out, does hit the initial rail. And lucky for him, Mega's up. He does have to inject in his back pocket to use. So, of course, nosfa does trade, but oh my god, the amount of damage coming out from Av3k then.
Big damage there from Av3k, and this is kind of the opening, the opportunity, right? You get the frag, you get decent damage off the spawn. Your opponent still doesn't have a lot of weaponry, but it might not matter as nosfa's just hitting all these rails. He does go 3 for 3, but the inject saves his life, and the machine gun to end it. nosfa, what are you on? I mean, I know it was lightning in a bottle, but damn! I'm
just happy nosfa's playing the way he's playing at the moment. It's like I said in previous matchups, it doesn't really seem to be playing like himself, but this is what we expected from nosfa week 1, didn't we? Like, this is exactly what we wanted to see. And already shown a little bit of Quake gymnastics there, just dropping down 4 that Heavy. Will take a bit of damage from the rails, but at least he managed to pick up the Heavy nonetheless. 10 seconds until the Mega, 3.5 minutes have passed. I kind of feel like it's already been an entire matchup considering what we've seen from the bloodbath of both these players and the amount of back-to-back frags nosfa got previously over the first couple of minutes. Looks like nosfa's just completely leaving the Mega alone. Realizes this. Av3k has managed to pick it up. He's just seeing if he's going to be around. 50 HP though. And it's not that he just burns it. At least he hits the first rail. And is he going to stand? Oh, he just caught him. Must have literally got the pixel of his arm as he's backing away from that heavy jump pad.
Just trim the tail on that one a little bit, Lethal. As does put a second frag on the board. For those playing the home version, pings are relatively even. 130 for nosfa, 111 for Av3k. It's not really in anyone's favor, per se. As Mega is back up, Av3k's going to leave it up in favor of the light. Misses the rail. He's able to double back without issue as the Heavy waiting for nosfa. Sorbet looking real thick right now as we're getting closer and closer to the 5-minute mark. And Av3k has to play this patiently just as he is. Trying to come back from 4 frags down. Big rail there from nosfa. Going through the telly, a little bit presumptuous here. Big rockets from Av3k. The inject to save his life, a little bit of LG, and it is enough, but so much damage. And the inject being forced out. Needs to be careful off the spawn. The tri-bolt as nosfa tries to make some magic happen there. Just wants to get that frag, knowing how weak Av3k is. But he does survive. Items are traded again, and Av3k kind of survived that respawn threat, and now he has the momentum potentially to add another frag to his count.
The inject earlier definitely saved his backside. Just going by hit percentages as well. 60% for nosfa and 40% for Av3k. In terms of rail percentages, something you'd assume would be the opposite way around. Good direct, misses the second rail row. Nice. They are going to continue to engage here. nosfa now just trying to back away, but it's all for the heavy though. He may just have to try and burn it here, but nosfa at least takes him down. That was huge for him to not keep himself in his matchup, but just keep a nice healthy lead. And
what?
Oh my god, the rail just then. If he hit another one, it just blew my mind, but misses the second one. So, but that first one.
No, shut it down. Shut it down. That was insane. That legitimately was absolutely insane.
It certainly was. I completely threw me off. As Av3k was just trying to get just a sprinkle of damage as he approached the Mega, but didn't expect us the rail to slap him in the face. Because again, it's Av3k's weak once more, but time is of the essence here. 44 minutes left. Av3k needs to try and do something quick. I've seen him do some miraculous things on this map in the past. I remember him being 10-1 down against Kilson and then almost bring it back. But with a champion like Anarchy, I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to do it. But 5 frags left, 3.5 minutes left on the clock. We'll see what he can do. Let's see what he can bring to the table.
I'm still at a loss for words. I'm gobsmacked, as you might say, Lethal, at that rail. That was incredible, and I can't wait to look at that on the highlights. But we got a game on our hands right now. Av3k trying to fight back 5 frag deficit here, but nosfa's just looking too sweet right now, hitting 62% rail on an Anarchy. Av3k able to plan him with that follow-up, but still a lot of work, 4 frags down.
So there's an Av3k looking to see the possibilities of where nosfa's lurking. And also making the right moves, so to speak. Right decisions. His decision making seems to be on par. It looks like he's just looking to slow this down really early, like with 3 minutes left to spare. But against a player like Av3k, I'm not too sure if you want to try and do that as of yet. So then nosfa's going to back away. Av3k's got the read, hits the rails, going to go back up the jump pad to see if he can hit another. And he's going to be caught in the courtyard area, but he doesn't mind about the split. But that was a huge rail, but in the end, Av3k still comes out on top. Done quite a lot of damage. Could try and go for the trade, but not with the LG looking as lovely as it is from Av3k on the high ground. Just daring him to go up the jump pad or the TP, but realizes it's still there, the LG. He's going to leave the Mega for now, but it's going to pick it up as the heavy has just been... That's just popped, and nosfa has picked it up. So it's going to give nosfa some room to breathe here, but I still think it's a little bit too early to slow this down.
Yeah, nosfa's just trying to stay alive. Almost got baited into another frag at that rail right off the spawn. He does need to be careful of that. There's the preemptive spit, trying to fight for this Mega a little bit too early here, and Av3k can just take the fight without even being in danger of the spit. nosfa trying to bully his way onto it a little bit too early, and that's another frag for Av3k, so nosfa has to be extremely careful. Less than 2 minutes remaining, 2 frags down. Av3k not quite landing the float from nosfa on the LG, but does grab the heavy and can try and turtle up a little bit, ever so slowly, but it's still going to be risky with 1:30 on the board.
Yeah, that was the right move by Av3k. He would have caught with his trousers down, he would have used the inject mid-fight. It just wouldn't have worked in his favour. He would have no inject to try and claw his way back from 3 frags, so that's perfectly understandable. Because now he's just trying to at least catch him. He has done with the first direct, but he rails him literally just straight through the telly. nosfa is on 36 HP though. Using the spit preemptively once again for that defensive purposes in order to guarantee that heavy. But in the end, no. Av3k, it's just going to be all-out aggression now. He has absolutely no choice, no matter what weapons he's got in his arsenal.
And that rocket pickup is huge because nosfa now has defensive rockets if he wants. Av3k just has to go in with a shotgun rail in a dream, and he can't do it. And it looks like nosfa is able to topple Av3k on at least map number 1 here. Huge performance from nosfa, just popping off with the rail, and that really was the difference maker here.
I can't believe your prediction is coming to fruition. It's absolutely ridiculous. Av3k does manage to get 1, still needs to find 3 more in the next 30 seconds, but there's no way he's going to be able to get these next 3 frags as cleanly as he would like to, especially after that first missed rail. Sadly, nosfa will take him down, which does mean that nosfa will be taking the second map in this series. Where is this nosfa the first few weeks, boy? Where's he gone?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's always interesting to see. I really think that, after going 0-3 versus Kelson, he was like, look, this can't happen. And there's the bounce back. So map number 1 in his pocket. Still a lot of Quake left to play. 2 maps between these two. Av3k has more than enough time to bounce back. But a strong start from nosfa, for sure.
Certainly was. The damage was very similar, actually. 126 damage between the two. That's how close it was. And in terms of rail percentages, I did say previously, you'd think it's the opposite way around. nosfa had 61 against an Anarchy. He was really on form, really, in terms of his aim skill and just holding the angles, just predicting where Av3k's going to go. Fantastic stuff. I kind of debated him playing it really slow over those last few moments, because it's like I mentioned before, like Av3k on this map, which is when he's on an absolute tear and is absolute running, you can't get away from it. Like literally, ever since that time against Kilson, it must have been like 18 months ago, and I'll still bring up even to this day. It was just unbelievable what Av3k can do on these largest scaled maps. But in the end, good comeback from Av3k, but nosfa was able to put a stop to his aggression, played it a lot more methodically towards the last couple of minutes, and it really showed how much he's progressed in this matchup, looking for that 3-0 potentially.
Yeah, just crazy start, really strong start. I still can't get over that rail shot. That needs to be in the highlight reel. I don't care if it's in the official one. It'll be in mine as we take a look at the damage summary there from map number 1. Again, nosfa coming out on top, 11-7 over Av3k. Maybe blowing some minds. I don't know. Hard to tell because the predictions weren't set up. That's my bad. I don't have enough fingers to set everything up while talking and standing. It's a whole thing, Lethal. I can't multitask, but you know what we can do? We can get into map number 2 shortly, and that's going to be Galena versus Eisen on Vale. The classic. We'll see who can set up their fortress and where they choose to set it up, and if that's going to be a huge opportunity to gain a lead and some momentum. But as you said before, Galena versus Eisen, I mean, pretty standard on Vale nowadays, would you say?
Yeah, I'd probably say this is a very even matchup between the Galena and the Eisen pick. And you're right, though, it's who, when, and how, and where they're going to pitch their tent and just continue to contest these items. Of course, for Av3k, he has no choice. He has to drop down. He needs to kill his totems in check, which is the whole point of Galena, really, just to avoid the overstack and everything else in between. It can be very, very tough and very difficult, because every time you see an Eisen pick or a scale, etc., they always use the Galena just to keep him away from just being like I said, pitching that tent, being that sitting statue around top mid or around tri-bow. It is a real nuisance, especially if you haven't got the Galena in use. If you haven't, then the Eisen can just do exactly what he wants and where he wants to go about it. He won't care in the slightest, will he?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter where you pitch a tent. It really doesn't, Lethal. We'll see. I'm pitching a tent right now, just waiting for map number 2, because I'm ready to camp out for some frags, all right? Maybe make some s'mores. We'll see. We'll see. We are loading up. Players are getting into Vale, but yeah. I love your catchphrases so much. I just want to make a t-shirt with all of them because they're my favorite, Lethal.
Yeah, some catchphrases are a bit...
Somebody needs to pull their finger out. I don't know where. I just know that it needs to happen eventually.
I've not used that one in a while, actually.
I miss it. I miss it so much.
Yeah,
I wish you understood how much I want you to say that every match.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, speaking of devil, Av3k does need to put his finger out in this matchup, doesn't he? Because he's 2 maps down, and it's not looking too good for him. This is definitely not what we even anticipated, but nosfa's definitely been flavor of the week here coming into this series, and we're going to go to Vale to see what Av3k can cook up here, considering the, I wouldn't say poor performances from the first 2 maps. It's just the fact that nosfa's just playing out of his mind.
And we'll see if he can keep it up, keep the momentum going into map number 2. So Av3k getting in on those rockets now. Just needs a little bit of a rail to have everything at his disposal. nosfa finally getting in on rockets, but lacks LG. And there's the battle over the LG. Big rocket there from nosfa. Av3k getting a little bit of damage. Does take care of Timmy rather quickly. Does have a totem in the pocket as well. That's going to be 2 down, so the economy for nosfa looking pretty good for the overstack. Does steal away the Mega, and actually gets a little bit of totem damage on the way out as well.
Certainly does, as Av3k is trying to make this matchup as aggressively as possible. Managed to get those 2 back-to-back rails. Was a little bit tempted, but in the end, stood strong. Made sure not to get too overzealous and tank all that damage going into TP after such great work from those previous 2 rails. As a minute has passed, Av3k just finding his time to see where he can find him. Does find him in the end, though, but just take that last rail, but repeats one of his own. Almost gets a little bit more with that tri-bolt, but instead he's going to prioritize the Mega. Perfectly understandable. Heavy has been picked up, just a few seconds between both his items here. But Av3k, in terms of his decision-making and his positional advantage, great work so far.
Yeah, not bad at all. Conversely, nosfa using the totems well. Keeping the stack as high as he can, even though he's kind of getting muscled out of some of these items right now. Does have one totem in the pocket, which will give him the overstack, and there it is. Galena is on fire. Almost 2 minutes in now, still not a frag on the board, but nosfa doing a good job of controlling the heavy, at the very least. Eyeballs the mega, but it's going to be very dangerous as Timmy is deployed up there, and you can see nosfa just waiting out, trying to see where Av3k is. There's a little bit of LG damage from below. Av3k trying to land some rocket damage, does clean up the mega, but look at that play. Just so much LG damage, Lethal.
Oh, certainly was indeed. nosfa, though, took a little bit of time. As Av3k was on a bit of a tear for the first 90 seconds, as I mentioned previously. Great decision-making, good position advantage, but now he's lost that tad. Gonna try and stay alive, hits that next rail. He's just gonna use that last totem to get the overstack, but he's already taken way too much damage for the last rocket, but he hits a direct of his own. Will he hit the rail? Yes, he does. That was lovely.
And it's just like, almost like what gives him the right. nosfa just hitting these amazing shots, but now he's out of LG, somehow swaps to rail and still hits it. Timmy blocking the damage on that one. nosfa has to be careful. Dead to rights. The shotgun blast will take him down, and Av3k has to be so frustrated at this.
Yeah, I think anyone in their right minds will be frustrated after that. And look at this, he's going to overstack once again. And what I like about nosfa's positioning again, just making his same rotations round so that Av3k doesn't approach those kind of angles, especially with a heavy machine gun. But lovely LG from both players, but it looks like nosfa's going to be one coming out on top. Heavy's coming up shortly, and he's still got all these totems up here for you.
Av3k's LG is immaculate, but nosfa's hitting 55% LG against Av3k, and that's just crazy to me. Because Av3k has such a good LG, only hitting 42% right now, but that rail, fantastic. Needs a little bit more, but again, if you take a look at the stacks at the top of your screen, Av3k lacking armor in a bad way here. Is on the mega, as nosfa opts to go for the light instead. He doesn't really need a mega. That's the brilliance of Galena. You have the overstack in your pocket. You can just play for the heavy, which is really what nosfa's been doing. 6 heavies to Av3k's 1, and as a Galena, that's kind of the benefit that you have.
He had 4 totems up at one point as the rocket jump comes in. That lovely stuff again from nosfa. Mini rocket just to secure that 5th frag, but going back to what I said, how some players struggle to even have an overstack. The fact that nosfa had 4 totems up at once, it's not something you normally see every day. Again, good LG from nosfa, just trying to finish him off with a tri-bolt, or at least get some damage done before Av3k enters that TP. But still plenty of time left for Av3k to bring this back. He's only 5-0 down, but still got 5 enough minutes left on the clock. Av3k does take him down. Finally gets his first frag, hasn't got any rockets to his name, and hasn't got the rail either. So he hasn't got the weapons in his arsenal, but at least he can try and go for him whilst nosfa backs away.
Does get a rail, still lacking rockets, as you said. But a good start there for Av3k, getting that in a beautiful rail lineup, and he should have nosfa here dead to rights, and there he is, picks him out as he drops down below. It's 2 for Av3k now. Looking to add to the lead, has Timmy to deploy, as he does, jumping for the mega. Pretty standard positioning there, and he's able to get the heavy, it looks like, maybe clean, as nosfa's waiting down below, but Av3k hunting a little bit, wants to clear out totems when he can, and just like that, nosfa just flies through and steals the heavy right out from under him.
You can see Av3k just doing some detective work to find out where all these totems are. He's definitely taken out a few already. This is the first rail, but nosfa, he just doesn't want to miss. He just literally just hitting almost every single one, but Av3k's put one of his own. nosfa decides to switch things out for extra insurance just to clean them up with those rockets. Great stuff there from nosfa. Again, just the reads once more, going from rockets to TP, just trying to cut off that rotation slightly. He's going to be picking up heavy as well, but Av3k gets it just in the nick of time. And it was a clean frag from Av3k, which means he can re-engage straight afterwards, wherever nosfa may be, which is going to be near the heavy.
Luckily for nosfa, he spawns right on top of his rocket launcher again, but Av3k doing a great job of getting back into this game. That huge denial of the heavy with that LG push there. Fantastic, because we have 4 minutes left. And I don't know if chat would have predicted this. I mean, we didn't give them the chance because we care about their economy on Twitch, but 6-3, nosfa in the lead on map number 2. Does take a little bit of damage there from Timmy. Needs to be careful. Has a totem in the pocket going through for this mega, but that's not going to be up for 20 seconds. So nosfa right now just trying to play around the lights, figure out where Av3k is in position from there, it looks like.
Av3k now's got plenty of time and plenty of room to bring this, or at least make a comeback and see where we can go from there. He's just switching down to rockets, and Av3k reads this. He's making sure to continue contesting his artists, get full control. Once he's picked up the heavy, that's when he's going to be a little bit more overzealous and try and progress to areas on the map which nosfa could be hiding, or at least trying to stay alive. And now a 2 frag deficit here as Av3k just a nice amount of LG damage. Bounce up straight afterwards. Just back-to-back frags here coming out from Av3k. Just watching this rail spawn. nosfa's actually delayed the spawn. Av3k had a little bit of a feeling he might have done so, but has found him in the rail room once more. But he's going to be picking up the Mega, contest the heavy, and then back to square one for nosfa.
Yeah, and Av3k looking a lot more comfortable now, hitting a ton of LG, playing aggressive when he needs to. Should have this one as well. Big rockets, can't quite finish it. A little bit of tickle, and there it is, tied at 6. Av3k clawed his way back, and he's looking very strong right now, Lethal.
He certainly is. You can have all the aim skill in the world, but the way Av3k's adapted and making these great decisions and these great reads over wall, it's a little bit unstable here for nosfa. nosfa's just struggling to try and at least control the tempo of his matchup, because he was dictating the pace after the 2-minute mark. It was Av3k at first, but then nosfa just went absolutely ham, especially with that huge overstack. Now Av3k is still after blood, wants to try and get a little bit more done. Hasn't got any armor to his name as of yet. Heavy's now up, but Mega's going up in the next 10 seconds. And he's looking to pick up the light first before being able to contest this heavy. It's been up for a while here, as he's prioritizing the kill to see if nosfa would make a mistake. Mega's going to go any second now. Good rocket jump, good rockets to follow. And again, Av3k just making the magic happen. Now up by 1 frag previously, from that 3 frag deficit.
Just gorgeous rocket jump into beautiful rockets from Av3k there, taking the lead. Just really well done. And now the TP play from nosfa. He gets caught out from behind. He should go down here, hanging by a thread. Still alive somehow, but there it is, finally. It was only a matter of time, so Av3k up 2. Might be able to add another one. But nosfa in dire straits right now.
Certainly is. 1:15 left, both from equal stacks. Oh, that first one just barely missed, but at least it gets to 61 to 46 next time round. This could be a cue for Av3k to try and extend it to 3. The rail is definitely going to help massively. But he's still been a little bit cautious. I like this though. You could fact that nosfa just assuming he's going to come out all guns blazing. And instead, he didn't. Just biding his time, just waiting for that next rail shot.
Yeah, Av3k doesn't need to force anything right now. He needs to be careful, in fact, on what he drops for. And there it is. He drops for the heavy shotgun rail from nosfa into rockets, and it's enough with 5 HP. The weapon switch took so long off the spawn. He's going to get taken down immediately. And nosfa calls GG. He knew that frag was huge, but he took so much damage. He took so long to hit that rocket weapon switch that it cost him. Now, granted, I don't know if, he might have had a slight opportunity there, but I think just a little disheartened, if nothing else, near the end there. So he calls the GG, and Av3k able to battle back and grab map number 2, and we're going to the 3rd for the decider, and it's going to be another classic. Blood Covenant, we got Athena, and we're going to have Slash. Lethal, it doesn't get much better than this.
It certainly don't. No, it was the reason why nosfa was just trying to go for the TP with barely any HP was the fact that the only way he could come back was pick up the Mega, pick up the light. It was coming up in just a few seconds' time. He didn't really have time to recover because, well, you've seen what Av3k's like. It'll be after you to no end. It'll be a little Tom and Jerry fest there, trying to make sure to make things a little bit difficult, a little bit uncomfortable for nosfa there. As look at the item pickups as well, 24 for Av3k, and going for the hit percentages, nosfa continuing what he does best, 55% from the rail. Av3k had 44, but again, that was very good. Well played from Av3k there to tie things up. And yeah, going into Blood Covenant, this should be spicy because it's going to be the Slash versus the Athena, and we don't really get to see a lot of Athena because of the fact that she gets banned a lot, and we mean a lot. And the fact that we're going to see her against the Slash should be good. It
should be fantastic, but big shouts to Av3k for clawing his way back on this one. Down 5 at a certain point, still able to make the magic happen and come back, staying cool, calm, and collected, and playing aggressive like that. When he knew that he had the advantage, rocket jumping, cutting off appropriately, takes map number 2, 9-7. And that'll send us to the 3rd as the decider for the series between these two. Blood Covenant, as the predictions are rolling on in 76% in favor of Av3k for this one.
Can you blame him after what we just saw there? Yeah, it was I still think nosfa played really well, like considering the circumstance he put himself in towards the end. But those back-to-back frags were coming. There was a couple of bits and pieces he just didn't really expect. But for Av3k, if he sees an opportunity, he's going to be all over you, isn't he? He literally will be. But this matchup I'm very much excited for. For Blood Covenant, you rarely see the Athena versus a Slash. You always see a lot of Slashes or a lot of the Athenas, but never seen both together because one of them is always banned going into Blood Covenant, and it's so annoying. It really is. But finally, we can actually see both of them playing on Blood Covenant, and yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, it's going to be a very spicy affair indeed. It's going to be not all-out aggression, but we're going to see a lot of very fast-paced, methodical plays and a lot of improvisation from both as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Spicy, 100%. Speedy, 100%. Seductive, maybe. I'm hoping. We'll see. We'll see. As this is going to be the decider again between these two for the set. We are tied 1 apiece in case you're just tuning in. And another quick look at the prediction, 70% for Av3k. So it seems like the people have spoken, Lethal. It seems like they've spoken. They believe in Av3k. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, Slash versus Athena, going to be speedy. We'll see. I'm trying to remember the last couple times I've seen nosfa play Athena, and all I remember is on Awoken, his insane overtime games where he's just able to stay alive, tied like 5-all, and go into 3-4 minute overtimes and then come back and clutch it. Blood Covenant, different beast entirely, though. So it'll be interesting to see what nosfa has in store for us with that Athena.
nosfa's had to deal against Rafa's Athena so much in the past of Blood Covenant. He's probably thinking, yeah, I'll double with the Athena. Like, let's see if he can try and do something in terms of the aspects for a lot of these players that the Athena has. But Athena is definitely one of the strongest champions of Blood Covenant, and the way to counter it is either to cut off on those choke points with the rockets, or at least have a earlier preparation time for these items. But with the Slash and for Av3k, this perfectly suits his style. It's going to go one of two ways. Either you can get out of hand for the likes of nosfa, or it's just going to go all his way. It really depends on the circumstances here. So, we said before, it's going to be an absolute slugfest. It's going to be very, very speedy, as you already mentioned. And we're going to see exactly that. I don't really see these two champions come up against each other due to the bans on Blood Covenant, but I'm very, very happy to see both these champions get selected on Blood Covenant here. Just starting off from nosfa's POV, does have the heavy machine gun if wants to do a little bit of damage. Hasn't got the rockets or the rail to his name, so we'll have to just deal with the heavy machine gun and the LG. Av3k already hitting both those rails, trying to get away as he's going for the TB, and then takes himself out in the end 40.
The idea wasn't bad at all, as Av3k knew that he had him weak and just wanted to push through the telly, but he couldn't do it. A little bit off target with the rocket as well, and ends up exploding himself. nosfa in the lead, and now he has a decent stack to work with as well. No items coming up for a while. Av3k trying to get in on these rockets. It could cost him everything, as nosfa able to bounce him around, not getting big damage, but finally taking him out. 49 health after that, and after a 25 pickup. Still really weak. Still battling it out here as Av3k trying to even it up and get at least 1 frag back.
We actually caught him with his chances down, going down in the end. He's the one committing the suicide, so we're back to 0-1. nosfa does pick up the Mega though, and both items have been picked up. Stacks are equal. nosfa looking to see if the light is down below near LG, but it's already been picked up earlier on due to the previous engagement they had. Will Av3k drop down? No, he doesn't. Realises that he's going to be in a little bit of a bad spot. nosfa just finding his time there, waiting for Av3k to move away from the rail as soon as physically possible so he can pick up one of his own. And Av3k's just on the warpath again, looking to try and clean up nosfa, which he has done. God. Again, great stuff from Av3k, dropping down with the heavy machine gun. And again, nosfa back to 0-0 now. Back to where we started here, for you.
All even now, as nosfa using that grapple to get on that heavy, trying to get out unscathed, maybe do a little rail damage of his own, but nothing doing. Neither player landing a shot. nosfa trying to slow it down, makes his way over to the rockets, and Av3k just so smart with the cutoff, knowing he needs that item. There's the LG push as well. The nail gun won't save his life this time, as Av3k takes the lead.
Certainly does. As Av3k had an incredible start. Bit of a slip up with the rockets, but we understand what shenanigans he was up to. nosfa's got a great stack to work with here to try and pressure Av3k by any means necessary. That's fine, no need to light. Both missed their initial shots, but of course with the hitboxes and the strafe patterns are showing here, it's a little bit difficult. This is a great way to tie the lead. nosfa with that perfectly And it's about predicting where Avic's going to go next. Picks up the light, Heavy's up in the next second. Both of them looking to engage. Instead, goes straight
Oh
for
my
him with the
God.
rockets, knowing that he won't expect it at all. That was beautiful.
What an aggressive play. nosfa just hit him with the surprise, and it worked out. Pixel perfect rocket, and yeah, that was super aggressive. More of that. I'd love to see it. Lots of machine gun coming out of the telly from Av3k. And again, playing his 2 lights, even if you pick up some items, they bruise easily, Lethal. So both players need to be careful with the positioning and what they open themselves up to, as nosfa taking some damage, able to saunter back to the heavy. Looks like items will be traded. No, Av3k taking the opportunity to deal damage on this item, and that could be crucial here, as he almost got a frag off of that.
But this is what we expected before the map even began. With some fast-paced, methodical play from both these players. Now nosfa just looking to try and stay alive and counter the rail, but will be greeted by a rocket from Av3k, who's looking to go for that and having the bigger stack. No reason why he should not. nosfa does pick up the rockets in the rail straight away, so it's a nice little add-on there, nice little addition. Misses the first 2 rails though, and we know what the strafe pan can be like when someone uses heavy machine gun, but it still takes him out with 5 HP left remaining, hanging onto dear life, not just by the skin of his teeth, but also to the lead. It's only 4 minutes of play here, looking to make the rotation round to try and get behind with the rail. Here's railable, but it looks like we're not anymore after picking up that last health bubble. Good LG, but the problem is nosfa's so weak. Needs to try and get out of there, but is he delaying the inevitable here? So Av3k's just looking to see if he can try and clean up.
nosfa gambling it all for this heavy, and he's able to make it in a good defensive rocket into LG, and that sends Av3k packing. Oh, almost hits a crazy rail. Here's the cutoff for the Mega. Is it going to be enough? Good rocket into the rail. What a combo from nosfa.
I'm so happy to see this, honestly. I'm so happy these two selected these champions on this map, and because of their style, we couldn't ask for anything more really, could we now? Just going out with the LG from nosfa. Av3k, slight disadvantage. Main reason why he's backed away. nosfa picks up the heavy, Meg's up in the next 10 seconds, but Av3k's just realised he's put himself in a bit of a bad spot there. Does back away. He can't really progress towards this Mega considering his stack, and then will he be able to stay alive? That's the next question. He's
Oh my God, Av3k furious right now, and then he gets harpooned for his trouble. And unfortunately, in the arena, it's 10 minutes nonstop, no matter what happens, and he gets melted again. And this has to be a tiny bit of frustration boiling over from Av3k.
It certainly was, yeah. I don't know what to call it. We'll just call it the Spinneroonie for now. I think that's the. But the direct as well, and nosfa's just on the hunt now to try and finish him up. He doesn't know he is available. He wants to try and stop him from getting one of those health bubbles or light armors. No, not going to be the case. Picks up the Mega. Heavy's up in the next 15 seconds. Wait to see if Av3k does return to where he previously was, just double backing, but now knows that it's just outside the TP. As nosfa's probably feeling like Av3k's just doing his heading right now, going back and forth, trying to read what Av3k's trying to do here. Heavy is up though. Good rail from Av3k just to keep nosfa at bay. Stop him from contesting this heavy, and nosfa realizes, yeah, just pick up the light, let's do this safely and securely, and just go for that Mega.
They're completely knocking Av3k off trajectory down into the catacombs of the pillar room. And nosfa can just play this nice and patient here. Using that rail, using that tri-bolt well. Missing with the follow-up, but needs to be careful here on this heavy, as nosfa doesn't have any armor, but Av3k in a bad way now. 7 minutes in, just about, down by 4. You're playing against arguably one of the speedier champions. Not only speed, but also just traversal of the map vertically, and it's going to be so tough to catch.
4 frags. Right. Taking around 105 damage from that last heavy machine gun battle. And look at that, knew exactly he was going to go straight for the light, and for any other opponent, they would be like, right, let's just stand our ground and just have a stalemate here, but will he be able to... Still wins that last engagement. And this could be the final moments here. Av3k needs to try and find 6 frags. He's got the ability to do it, but every single one of these frags needs to be as clean as possible. But the problem is nosfa's with the stack advantage. nosfa's the one with the item control and the times here. And it could get rough. It could continue to get rough for Av3k.
nosfa, I think, just caught a glimpse of him. There's the tri-bolt, almost perfect. Just hits a little bit. Av3k unfortunately missing the jump, and yeah, he's going to have to start doing riskier and briskier moves here to try and get back in on this, and it has to be perfect. There's a beautiful hook to stay alive. There's the rocket jump just to grab a glimpse of him, but nosfa ready with the LG. And those are the risks that Av3k has to take, and it looks like it might be dire straits as again nosfa with the fadeaway rail. How many times have we seen that throughout the set, Lethal?
4, 5, maybe. It kind of feels like more because he's done it consistently every single time. It's extremely frustrating, but these defensive rockets from nosfa still takes down Av3k. Just absolutely unreal. And we must say that nosfa's played this perfectly. Even still gets the direct and trades out whilst on barely any HP. Couldn't make this up here. And
just wow. What a play. What a set from nosfa. Minute 15 now as the Mega. Ooh! Gave him a little brr, just to scare him. No disrespect, just a little bit. Put the fear in him.
Unbelievable pins. Finally managed to back off from the previous damage taken from Av3k, but yeah, we all know it here. Minute left, 10 frags, not going to happen. Av3k can maybe keep the score a little bit respectable as nosfa's just trying to keep this nice healthy lead here. It does pick up the Mega, it does get the heavy machine gun, trying to do as much as possible, but again, these defensive rockets from nosfa, it's a huge talking point, not even in this matchup, but back in the first map when these two were at loggerheads earlier on. With 30 seconds left remaining, 9 frags, GG, understandable, as Av3k did his best to try and recuperate his losses, but yeah, just lost even further.
Yeah, and again, we saw a little bit of
As you do.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I love it. Can we always leave in-game chat up? Probably not. But anyways, shouts to nosfa and Av3k. A fantastic set from both. nosfa able to take it 2-1. Lethal, we call that a little bit of brown magic with my prediction, just saying. But yeah, I feel like a little bit of that was frustration from Av3k. I don't know if things weren't going his way in the game or game plan-wise, but we saw that kind of boil over in one of the fights. And you know, if you're frustrated and you're playing just a little bit off, like tilted, it could throw off everything. So whether that played into it a lot there, nosfa was just hitting everything. Great defensive rockets, as you said, fantastic rail follow-up. So not taking anything away from him, he played great, and he's able to take this set 2-1 over Av3k, which I think surprises a lot of people.
It certainly does, and you know, you can't count out the verticality of the Athena, can you? You can get yourself of a sticky situation a number of times, and we saw that, but it wasn't really the mechanics of the Athena. It's just, again, the defensive rockets, not just his aim skill behind it, but the positions he would place himself in purposely in order to force a trade, or if Av3k does take him down, Av3k's going to be super, super weak. Won't have any weapons in his arsenal, but at least he can clean up with the MG or whatever he has to start off with in terms of his starting weapon. But honestly, great stuff on nosfa. We've been waiting for a few weeks, as I've already mentioned, to see him bring some light. You know, like I said, he is the lightning in the bottle, and he certainly was in that matchup. 12-3 in terms of the hit percentage. It's not very high, but enough to seal the deal. And look at the rocket damage though from nosfa, 1,546. Frustration from Av3k, of course.
It's just crazy. And again, playing a Slash is almost similar to playing an Anarchy, where you hit a rocket and you get popped up sky high. We saw it near the jump pad especially. Like, it just not only stops your momentum, which is 70% of the point of playing Slash, but it just ruins you. Light stack as it is, especially if you don't have items. So those rockets came up big for nosfa. Shouts to him. And yeah, taking the set 2-1, that's no small task. So big props to nosfa for putting that, especially after going down 0-3 to Kilson. The bounce back is real. And yeah, he succeeded today in his mission.
Well, you've been right with every single prediction. I don't think any of us would have assumed that nosfa would have won this series, considering Av3k's track, well, nosfa's track record for the last five weeks in the competition. But, you know, you could say Zenecu's going to beat 3-0 and predict that, and we can see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You jinxed me now that you brought it out. I was feeling pretty good about it, but now I don't know what to do with myself. But that's halfway through the day for us? Interesting. But you know what that means? 2 featured matches remaining, and we get Papa Wheat back to wrangle us in and teach us how to behave. We'll be right back. Quick break, and we'll see you soon.